Hey, what up, what's happening? It's Kami the Wolf Boy, aka Pretty Blake. Anybody who watching this back later, I specialize in educating people on criminology, the criminal justice system, trying to help, felons understand their status as a felon, what they can and can't do. Help educate people on, how the war on drugs and various other things helped, mass incarcerate innocent black men, wrongful conviction rates for black and brown people, so on and so forth. And behind the scenes, I've been doing my best with my little social media, skills to uh, try to get as many eyes on that food curry situation as possible. Helping my Mama Naomi behind the scenes, mainly on the social media, while Mama Bear basically doing as much as she can and pretty much doing all of the work, going to all the court cases, talking to all the news stations, so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm just here to conduct a follow-up interview, to really just, lock in once again, to check in with the people we care about, to make sure that anybody who's watching from outside, outside of the circle, can still have some insight into what it looks like when somebody is genuinely dedicated to a cause. And, anybody who may want to, take up that same type of business, in the future to educate other people, to create positive change. So what I'm waiting for right now is to see if the uh the request worked out, because I sent the request to Mama Naomi, and she not technologically savvy, so be patient with us. Be trying to make sure she can have her story told. But at the same time, if she don't ever use the technology like this, how would she know? Um, but yeah, each one teach one. That's what we doing today. Shout out to Miss Isabel Baker, um, from Izzy Mediates. She took it upon herself to reach out to see if we could do a follow-up interview. She also invited me on her podcast, to talk about myself and as well as, um, send requests. Okay, hold up. I got you. I got you. Okay. I'm waiting to see you pop up on my on the thing so I can send a watch request. I mean a live request. It says you're not on my viewer list. This is weird. Can you even uh can you go live on your phone? Because hold on, let me take a screenshot of this real quick. And this is why I don't like using Facebook and Instagram as often as I used to. Because I'm about to send you a screenshot so you can see. She
Wow.
the second you sent me that invite, you popped up on the list of people. I was just sitting there like, why isn't her name showing up on a list of people? But technology is technology, sometimes unreliable. Good
But so woman, it is. I feel so inadequate. Oh my God. Good morning, Nick. How are
morning,
you?
good morning. I'm doing well, thank you very much. I don't
It's
gotta go to no 9 to 5. I'm breathing, all my body parts work. I woke up, got to brush my teeth. I don't have to worry about where my next meal coming from. I'm I ain't got nothing to complain about today. You heard me, I'm there.
Amen. And thank you for your patience.
Of course, of course. I try to have, limitless patience when it comes to people who genuinely have no idea what's going on. It's part of being a teacher, you know. recognizing the difference between a situation that's like, oh, this is just a person's learning process. They might learn a little bit differently, and it might have been easier for me, but I was also lucky in a lot of different ways. So let me just be patient, see what this person got going on,
Thank you.
and then differentiating that from people who are purposefully ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was on the short school bus, unfortunately.
it's okay. Cognitive disabilities or learning disabilities, whatever, to whatever spectrum that person is on, I recognize that a lot of black and brown people, especially my grandmother's age, were raised in a time where a lot of black people weren't even allowed to have access to higher education. So if you anywhere near my grandmother age, you grew up at a time where our people were told they had to use the colored entrance. You feel me? 19,
98.
like 1960, November 14th, 1960, you was around when Ruby Bridges helped desegregate an all-white school.
Yes, I wasn't very knowledgeable of it until I became older, though.
Mhm.
I'm in the South. You know how that goes.
Yeah, I do. You know, deprivation of resources, systemic deprivation of resources, both educational and financial. I know how that goes.
Yes.
Um, But yeah, before I go on this whole other tangent, uh, first of all, I wanted to follow up and say thank you for all of y'all time, both for you, Isabel, for David as well, showing me any level of trust and love that y'all have shown me so far, especially in a world like this where everybody's scamming, everybody want attention, take from somebody else's story, try to make themselves more popular. It's one of the main reasons I just took a back seat. Any help that I could offer with the change.org stuff or sharing posts, stuff like that. I love that. But as far as boots on the ground, you do the most work, period, point blank. It's you that's in them, in them courtrooms, listening to people basically talk about your son like he just another number. You
Mhm.
feel me? You the one waking up early, day after day after day, staying up late day after day after day, whether it's because of stress or it's because you got work to do. You breaking through barriers intellectually and cognitively, knowing that you're not good with technology, but you still went up against that frustration anyway, right? And you risked that embarrassment, right? Because you are committed to this cause 100%. So just from one black person to another black person, right? You doing exactly what it looked like everything that you didn't seen other activists do for their own family, so on and so forth. I promise you, from my perspective, you're doing everything right. That I
Thank you.
can't, don't look down on yourself. Any mistakes you may have made, don't, you feel me? Let that take you off your pedestal. You didn't put in a lot of work and you've gotten much farther than I have in a lot of situations. So be proud of yourself. Be proud of the progress you've made. Be proud of yourself as a woman, as a mother, because 10 toes, you didn't show the whole world. You didn't show David. You didn't show me that this is not a game. This is not a popularity contest. This is your child's life, right?
Absolutely.
You are an example of what I like to see. What I like to say is, it don't matter how old you are, you still my child. It don't matter how old you are, you still my baby brother. In the same way I be telling my baby brother, yeah, you in college. Call me if you need something to eat. Yeah, you in college and you grown, you going to the army. Call me if you need some money for something to eat. It don't matter how old you are. That's my baby. And you've shown that love. I just wanted to take some time to show my appreciation because love, black love, comes in multiple forms, and we need more of that.
You showed love from day one with offering to help. And it was just overwhelming for me the first, I say, 2 years. Um, it was a lot. It's a lot. It still is, but I won't give up.
Mhm. Yeah, no, there's no way that a person's freedom being snatched from them like that isn't a lie. Like I try to tell black people in general, we've been conditioned by a lot of media in this country into thinking that we're supposed to be stoic in response to these types of traumas. This is trauma we're dealing with
It is.
at any given time. You can get that call like, oh, something happened to somebody behind bars, and the COs ain't do nothing, because everybody's just a statistic when they behind
That's
bars.
true.
Like whether people get adequate nutrition, don't nobody care about that up in there. Whether
Mm-mm.
the place is hygienic. You could get fungal infections in your skin that could lead to serious health complications simply from being in places that are unclean. And these are things that we are not privy to on the outside because a lot of times out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
And when it's a person that's out of sight, out of mind, then you allowed to just fill your prisons up with millions upon millions of people, a lot of which are wrongfully convicted. Because
That's
I'm gonna drop some knowledge on y'all. The average amount of time a wrongfully convicted person spends behind bars, 16 years. You could be wrongfully convicted and you will spend on average 16 years in the prison system before they come get you. Out of all of
oh,
the people who spend 25 or more years wrongfully convicted, over 68% of them are black. But people
mm,
who spend 40 or more years wrongfully convicted, over 80% of them are black.
sad.
So this is the reality we live in, right? Your fear is real. Your anger is real. All of those emotions you've been dealing with over the past several years, that is 100% real. You do not have to prove to anybody that it's real. Real recognize real. I know what it looked like when a person is struggling, doing their absolute best day after day after day. So like, yeah, um, just a little bit of validation so that you remember, like, you really are pioneering something. You're the only one. I've yet to see another mother moving the way that you're moving right now.
Wow.
I've yet to see another person moving the way that you're moving right now without a whole team of lawyers, because social media, they blew up on social media. They got money now. Most of the time, I see people with GoFundMe's. Their GoFundMe get a bunch of money and then they get what they need. You didn't have no GoFundMe. It was just you. So now I want you to talk a little bit about yourself. Enough of me, talking everybody ear off. I just want you to say the first thing that comes to mind about these experiences over the years and to tell me and everyone who's watching, what's on your mind, what's on David's mind, what's life looking like. Talk about what you want to talk about. You have the floor.
Well, as I said, the first couple of years were really rough. You reached out to me, so many others that followed my son. And I cried a lot of nights to sleep, waking up, having so much paperwork, couldn't keep it organized, and just like, I don't want to lose my son. And when we had the mistrial, we were very hopeful. And then when we went back to court, it's sort of hard for me. I'm sorry.
Take your
Um,
time.
we got guilty verdict. We had four juries on our side. Um, but the DA, it was months later that we went back for the retrial. They cleaned up everything that had helped us, where we won. And what I realized, although it wasn't all coming together during those over 7 days in court, was that it didn't matter whether my son was guilty or not. They didn't want another mistrial because it would cost the state so much money, and they wanted to tie this up. So even our attorney, she did a great job for us. But at the end, I felt like they all worked together, you know.
To
For the
just get it
second,
over with.
yeah, the first trial, I had to pay $12,000, and it took me over a year to pay. They let me pay in installments.
Mhm.
The second trial, she went before the judge to go pro bono, and the judge accepted it, although the DA was trying not to let her go pro bono for us. But I had to look at the reality. She's with a big firm. You're getting less money. It could cost us twenty or $30,000 if she went back, because they get paid 300, 650 an hour. They're not gonna, and I don't mean no disrespect to them, because I will say they did a good job.
Right.
But a firm is to make money. It's business. So you're not gonna go spend over 100 hours when you can be making 3 to 650 an hour. We're not that important. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate what they did, but it was just funny. They paraded all of these people in the courtroom when we got the mistrial, but when we went back to trial, half of those people weren't even there. They had worked it so good, and I know my attorney said in the closing argument, the time that you've given this young man, this is his life. Think about it, and there was some emotion there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when they gave the verdict, this one juror just broke down and cried, and I don't know everything that went on in that jury room, but there were some things that I can't discuss that I caught, and with,
Some things that you can tell was not indicative of a proper proceeding
right,
legally.
you know, um, so that was like mind blowing. And I had been praying, and I just felt that we were going to, at the very least, have a mistrial. And when they said guilty, it was like, oh my God. But I said, God, I'm going to keep my faith. Things don't look good. My son and I both cried, and you very seldom see him cry. But
Yeah, I know how it is as a black man. That's your last resort right there. That's the last thing you want to do.
right, and it was so difficult, and just now I'm still working on this, and I'm gonna have to spend more money for researchers, and this is not free. Just going to see my son twice a week for 3 years, driving over an hour, and but it's okay. The one thing that I will say, and if feel free to ask questions because my concentration is off balance, is that my son James, you call him David, but David's his middle name. In this last year and a half, that boy's been so faithful. And he said, Mama, don't worry. I'm worried about you and your health. And my health, I know I need to take care of it, but he was more important. My faith grew. I didn't know I could have so much faith in God. You know, I told my mama, get out there, walk, do this, do that. And just, he's read the Bible 10 times and he'll throw those scriptures out. He said, Mama, this is what I go to. And in court, he kept the Bible. And when things looked really messy, he would go to the scriptures and he would read. But the most important thing that I've learned, if you ever had a record, they would use that against you. They don't pull any punches. Um, but to see how God works, that after he shed his tears and then he was going back to the cell, some of the officers was like, they don't believe this happened. I mean, everybody knows there was some stuff going
Hmm.
on. This DA went after my son with a vengeance. She told him when he was arrested that I'm going to try this until I find you guilty. I will keep trying it. And we sort of like laughed it off because we know the state's not going to keep having a trial. She did exactly what she said. She made sure he was convicted. I mean, everything, the guys not wearing the cameras, having an excuse they was undercover, so that would have been dangerous to them, but yet they out there, you know, doing whatever they did. And I can't really talk about that case, but what I will say, my son made some mistakes, but God is using him. You talked to him, you seen his Instagram, which I lost not knowing what I was doing. But he has impacted so many people's lives, including mine. And I know God has something to do for him to help young people because he's encouraged so many young people inside of those walls as well as myself. But we're going to get back to, see, I'm sorry. We're going to get back to the beginning, how all of this started. My son had a 20-year sentence for robbery. He went in when he was 18. Okay. Um, he filed for appeal and he lost. Well, the clerks did not correct the paperwork and it gave him time off his sentence or early release. So he's trying to get his jail credit and um he kept writing officials letting them know this date is wrong. This is when I'm supposed to be released. I want it. I want my jail credit. Now I don't think he understood maybe the impact that that mistake. I don't know.
Could have
I'm not
had.
a kid. But anyway, they
And
let him out.
and for those who don't know, what we're talking about and describing is essentially how, on a personal level, right? Individual people can pick and choose based off of their own ideologies, based off of their own morals, how they want to react to a situation. And in this particular situation, it is not her saying this, right? For legal reasons, I am not going to say that Naomi is saying this, right? This is not what she's saying. What I am saying, right, from my perspective, is that it seems as though individuals in the criminal justice system are making it their personal goal to make sure this man stays behind bars, whether or not he is actually guilty, right? Because it's more profitable for the prison system to keep more people behind bars. And it's not profitable, right, for the criminal justice system to be exposed as making a mistake this big.
Mm-hmm.
Because essentially, you can no longer keep those people out of sight, out of mind. All of a sudden, that fool Crip Curry isn't just a name on the internet, right? He's a real person now, right? And it, from my perspective, it seems like the people who were involved in this, right? You have some people who genuinely look at this man like a person, right? And they recognized and have verbalized that there's something wrong, right? That this situation is not going the way it's supposed to go. And then you have people on the other side who are essentially just detached, and they're treating this situation like nothing more than an annoyance. Like, oh, can we just go home already? Like, can we just get this over with already? Like, in it being a whole person, you can't just get a whole person over with already. So it seems like people are either burnt out, or this is just their ideology and how they've been for quite some time. So these are the things that I talk about when it comes to the wrongful conviction rates. And like I said before, more than half of the wrongfully convicted population is Black people, straight up. Where at the same exact time, violent crime is primarily perpetuated by white people. So understanding that this is not just an isolated incident, understanding that we are one of many groups of people who are all going through something similar. And the more we share these types of stories, the more we listen to people's moms, dads, brothers, so on and so forth, the more we can be interconnected. And eventually we might be able to not only talk to Mama Bear, but also talk to, this mother, this aunt, this uncle, this
Yeah.
cousin,
Yeah.
and group up together and take on the criminal justice system all at once, instead of being so disconnected and basically trying to fight the good fight till we burn ourselves out. So this is one of the things that I wanted to say. Like, if y'all take anything from this, understand that number one, y'all are not alone. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, it's always a few million other people on this planet going through something similar or the exact same thing. So I think the next stage would be for us to start reaching out to other people who are in similar situations, so that maybe we can get more people on our team, and we can do, you feel me, what we can to help other people and lessen our burdens a little bit. But I apologize for the
No,
interjection. I just had
no,
that thought.
because
But as you were,
because I was just talking to a lady, a friend of mine that lives in Wilmington, and she said she was at court. They called her for jury duty, and this lady was in there, probably about my age or older, and her son was up for murder, and she looked at her like, "Somebody help me, please." And she said she's going to go back and try to reach out to her. And I said, well, that would be a great thing, that if we go down there just to let her know, these are two strange people that want to come and support me,
mhm,
you know. And I said, we need a coalition of mothers. So you just explained everything that I want to do. But the problem is, and it just doesn't apply for everyone, some people are too ashamed to let people know what's
mhm.
going on in their life. I'm very vocal, and I'm tired of doing this alone. But people get complacent if their life is okay. Oh, he shouldn't have did this. You know, forget what my son may have done or has done in his life. He has made a big impact in his life and others.
And who's
So
to say that economics even gifted him with the opportunities he needed to expound upon those beautiful things about
right,
himself? Because like, we exist in a Western civilization where education and infrastructure is not put first. So like,
absolutely,
if you
especially
grew up in a, exactly. Now, me, I'm an intelligent Black man. I'm nerdy, I got the diction and, book smart, and that's cool. But I'm lucky. I grew up in Baltimore, Zone 17. And anybody who know anything about Baltimore, you know that the infrastructure is garbage. Back in the day when we used to go to school, we couldn't even drink out of the water fountains that they had in the school because we would get sick. So like, imagine going to school and you can't even use any of the fountains. And it's not until a few years later that people started putting in the Deer Park water fountains. Like,
Hmm.
we did not have the best curriculum. We did not have the best, you feel me, environments, hygienic schools to be going into. A lot of these buildings was broke down, had mold and all type of stuff in them. Like, in the behavioral aspects, right? There really is little to no behavioral science built into our infrastructure to help parents cope with children that maybe have, a bit more energy than they
Right.
used to,
Right.
or that child that's like always touching something, trying to take something apart, or this, that, and the third. When children are in their developmental phase, right? They say idle hands are the devil's workshop. And even though I'm not super religious, that's one of my favorite anecdotes because it's true. No matter who you are, when you stagnate, you start doing stuff that ain't even good for you just to get some type of stimulation. And that's what the brain will naturally do. So who's to say that when he was younger, right? Even if he had this thing over here to make him a little bit lucky, or if he had this opportunity over here, who's to say that the environment of the United States of America, the socioeconomic and political climate, didn't create an infrastructure and an environment that slowly but surely just brought him a little bit closer to, doing something he wasn't supposed to because it was entertaining and or because, oh, maybe this is what I'm supposed to do to be tough, to be a real man, to show that I'm really like that. Being misguided and doing things that you are not 100% aware of, like, oh, this is how it's going to affect my life. Because
Right.
once he got to the other side, he like, wait a minute, now that I actually have something on paper, some book smarts and this, that, and the third, and some new experiences to show me, I should be allowed to cry. Like, I should be allowed to talk about my suicidal thoughts. I should be allowed to really just, in him taking that step, what if somebody would have given that to him back then? Maybe he would have never made that mistake to begin with. Now, I recognize that because I've been in them similar situations and I wanted somebody to give me some grace. But like, that's really all it takes. Just understanding that it's cause and effect. He didn't come out just being like, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. He's a person. So yeah, definitely. Shame is definitely one of those things that's used to trap people. And I'm glad that over time you've worked against that because I want everybody to understand that shame, you should never listen to shame.
Right.
Never let shame trap you. Never let shame stop you from crying and telling the truth about what it is you're really thinking and feeling. Because that's the only way for you to get through it in a healthy way.
And going with mothers sticking together. There's no handbook on parenting, but I've been on my own since I was 11, and that's a different story. But I did end up being on substance abuse, crack cocaine, as a matter of fact, for years. The drugs took everything from me. I even lost my kids at one time. And I won't say that I didn't care, but the drugs numbed me out. I had to keep doing it and doing it.
Mm.
And I do believe that's why I have my little youth ministry. I do believe that we have to start when they're young. You're a product of your environment. I was not a good parent, you and that hurts me. I'm gonna share this one story, and I know I jump all over the place. It's my bipolar. Um,
There's nothing wrong with going from subject to subject. This is about you. That's why I said you had the floor. Speak on what you want to speak on with no shame, no hesitation.
when I had lost custody of my kids, and they were with my mom, and my deceased son Chris brought my two sons James, which you call David, and Obi, to spend some time with me, and I just wanted to get high. I had some good crack. And James said, Mama, please come and go with us bowling, excuse me. And I didn't want to go because that drug was calling me. And I got out the car. He said, Mama, if you get out this car, never speak to me again. I got out the car anyway and went and got high on crack. So, you know, I didn't set a good example for years. Now I'm a new me, so I know what change can do. People prayed for me for years, and I got healing. And I don't agree with saying I'm a recovering addict because I believe you are what you claim. I am cured. God help me through a lot of things. So I will not accept I'm a recovering addict. But I will tell you, your home life can have a lot to do with how you go if you don't have the right people in. And then sometimes the right people come in, but the damage is done.
Mhm.
Because my son eventually got with a great foster family, and they're still in our lives. Very supportive. God, I'm just about at a loss for words because I jump in the subject again. Folks, bear with me. When we got on the news and the court found out we was on the news, they made sure they told the jury not to watch. What is the jury gonna go and do?
They go, gosh, why
Right.
did you? Y'all basically, because like the thing is, like y'all did that to yourselves. If you would have just practiced law correctly, morally, ethically, none of this would have been an issue. Us getting to the news would have never been an issue. But now
Right.
you spooked and you trying to do damage control because now her
Absolutely.
voice is being heard.
And I think Channel 12 News for that. But the fact that the judge had my son on hold for 3 years when he found out he was incarcerated again and had gotten out early. He let him sit there for 3 years and didn't bring him in for a hearing. That was due process that was violated. So what the judge said is because he was sentenced when he got that original 20 years, due process was not necessary. That was a lie. I did my research.
Hmm.
He was still entitled to due process. And when the news went there, they didn't even tell the judge name. So I believe that wasn't by mistake. The judge didn't want to be called out because when you get called out and you head of Superior Court judges, you have to go through every case if anybody came back. I
They
mean,
start
they are,
auditing
yeah,
you.
they are so smart. You know, I mean, I'm sitting in that trial just as like confused. What in the heck are they talking about? And then they talk about, well, he brought Department of Corrections in, combined records, and the clerk of courts, and they all admitted it was their fault that my son got out by error. And the judge is not holding anybody accountable. You know, and my
Blue
son,
line of silence.
right now, I'm not trying to make excuse for anything that my son may have done wrong, but if you had not made that mistake, he wouldn't be in the situation he is now. Now you got a choice, and I'm not, like I said, I will not condone anything, but this last case is more to it than I can discuss right now. I just can't get into details because of what I'm working on. But my son would be getting out in 3 years, serving the full 20 years. Now he has double the time. You know what I'm saying? I can't let my son go to prison and rot when he's doing so much good, you know. And we need to come together. Being silence, folks, you got to find a way that we work together. We've been silenced too long, not just in legal matters, just in so many things.
Hmm. Life in general.
Sitting in that court alone, you know, listening to the DA making my son to be the worst person in the world, and he got all this time, and then somebody, and I'm not judging, that murdered someone in the last 3 years. I've seen cases 9 years and 12 years. But that's a setup too. you know, they don't educate um the prisoners. You got to wait sometimes for years just to get a little job paying 40 cents an hour or $1 a day.
Hmm.
So you put gang members all together. You got rival gangs. How can you get out? It's all planned because if you get out of the gang, you may know a little bit about this. You're not going to have no protection. The
No.
gang that you was with, the rival gangs, you're open field. So how's that reform? When you put them all together, knowing it's rival in the streets, you can't. You're not getting the education. That's why I believe so many go back into the system. They come out, you can't get a good job. Even at Chick-fil-A, somebody was telling me they had a record. Chick-fil-A didn't want to hire them. Um, and we just have to give them hope. We got to give them something to work for. We can't just bring these people out. Education is the key, but it has to start when you're young. It really does. I don't know
I
what
agree.
to say.
I agree.
Um,
Everything that you said made perfect sense. Um, to anybody who has looked at the criminal justice system, you know, um, we know it to be true. And I do have some experience with that. I recognize that from my perspective, right, when I was growing up, I was lucky and unlucky at the same time. The people that I started hanging out with, they were impulsive, meaning that they were going to do things not because it was what truly made them tough or it's truly what a real man would do or quote unquote a real nigga would do, this, that, and the third. A lot of times it was just because they were impulsive, but because I was coming from like a more gentle state of mind and not really understanding like, because I was a gentle kid. So like not understanding like why is this the thing that you do when you impulsive? I'm thinking that this is the real deal. So I take it at face value. I'm like, oh yeah, we ready to go in here, we ready to take this, we ready to do bit by bit. And then only to find out slowly but surely, wait a minute, your mother got two jobs.
hmm
Y'all got two cars in your household. You got on a Gucci belt. You got on some slides. You got on some Cartiers. Where y'all getting this money from? Oh, my mother bought this, da 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 da, and my father. And I'm like, wait a minute. You got a two-parent household? I'm the nerdy one, right? The
Right.
gentle one. I'm not. Oh, I'm not really like. Oh, you're not really like. Meanwhile, I know what the BG&E look like when it get turned off.
hmm
When you got to take your food out the fridge and put it all in the freezer, and then anything else, put it in a little thing with some new ice.
Right.
Like going to stay at my grandmother's house when it wasn't no food or it wasn't no this or no that. Me having to make phone calls because my mother was too ashamed to call and ask for help. So I'm calling, right? Going in her phone and making phone calls like, yeah, can you bring us some food? Yeah, can you da 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 da? Like those experiences, and then realizing that y'all just listen to murder music. I grew up in the streets. Me
Right.
being nerdy ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Yeah, I'm a nerdy black man and all of that, but I'm the one that grew up in the streets. Y'all just dumb. Y'all just foolish, I should say. So
Right.
like seeing that and then finally making that separation a little bit. Now suddenly the people you had beef with because you just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and somebody bumped into somebody else and now y'all don't like each other because they didn't handle it right. Now, not only do I have issues when I see people I don't like, now I got issues when I see people I used to be friends with. And it's like the moment I stop being over there, they immediately forget everything I done did. So now you proving every single day or every week almost that you can fight. Because it's like people forgot that you could fight.
Right.
So now you proving every week or every other day that you could fight. Now you proving every other day or every other week, oh, you're not really like that. You ain't got it on you. Like people will literally forget that you could fight. People will forget that you talking to pretty girls, whatever. It's like a weird cycle where after a certain amount of weeks go by, they forget everything that they seen and heard that wasn't right there in their face.
Right.
So if you wasn't right there outside where they was at, they'll forget about you and they act like you was never there to begin with. So it's specifically like designed to trap people in a situation where all y'all is trapped in this little neighborhood together and all of these row homes. You got to bump into people you don't like every day. It's little to no options for you to do anything else. And it's the same thing when you go to school. It's just 40 kids packed into a room, hallways packed every time the class is changed. Then boom, you end up in jail one day because you did something like you were smoking your little blunt after work, and an officer decided to say you had 10 plus grams on you.
Yeah.
So now you doing time, and when you in there, they didn't been in there so long, right? Depending on where you at in the system, a lot of them have been in there so long, all they got is that mentality. So when you walk in, they don't see you as, oh, we got to look out for yo and make sure he good because he ain't even in all of that. You stay over there, we gonna make sure you good. If we ain't got no smoke with you already, then just stay over there so that you safe. If somebody say something to you, don't say nothing back. Let us worry about that. We gonna make sure that you get back to your family. You ain't do nothing that you really ain't supposed to do. You wasn't really no criminal for real. They just did something dirty to you and tried to take your life away, put you behind bars forever for something small. So we
Right.
just gonna make sure you good. That's not the mentality no more. It's every man for himself. So the second you walk in there, they gonna tell you, hey, if you white, you gotta go over there with a Aryan Brotherhood is at. If
Mm-hmm.
you black, you gotta be one of the Crips, you gotta be one of the Bloods. And we don't do the set stuff in here. You either Crip or you
Right.
Blood. That's it. If you one of the Mexicans, Chicano, you feel what I'm saying? Go over there with the Sureños, with you feel me, the Mexican mafia, Nuestra Familia, depending on where you at in the US or if you outside of the US, like all of these different situations that a person go up against if a minor traffic infraction. Like you get arrested because you feel me, your tags expired or something. Like any little thing. Now you get thrown in there with cold-blooded killers, and you just gotta emulate that behavior in order to survive. And that's the thing that messed me up.
Me too.
Cause I'm trying to get my education. I'm being an older brother thinking, yeah, I'm really doing it. I got this job. I'm getting my education. I'm learning how to do this, that, and the third, all of these skills. And then I come across other people my age and they, nigga, you a bitch. You're not really like that. And I'm thinking to myself, if I show you, I lose my freedom. It's no way
Right.
around that because I don't know you. You are a stranger to me. So what makes you think your life is so important to me that I'm gonna risk everything that I have to just fight you in front of your friends when I know I didn't been jumped before? Because if you don't think I can fight and you find out I can fight, now you mad and your homeboys jumping on me trying to get me out of there because they thought I was an easy mark. And I've been in them situations with cowardly people too often that I don't trust it when a person say, "Oh yeah, me and you could just one on one, we could really shoot it for real." I don't trust that no more. So it's like
Right.
it traumatizes you, and then next thing you know, you go from a gentle person who just wanted to teach, just wanted to love. Now you paranoid, like how I'm paranoid, and every time somebody knock on my door, I'm looking out that window like, "Who is you?"
Mm.
Every time I walk past somebody on the street and they look at me for a little bit too long, I'm like, "Who is you? What you got going on? What you trying to get into?" Because I'm not one of them. And immediately that side of me jump out defensively because we all just so traumatized and used to things going wrong. So the same way people play with your life and your son's life in that courtroom, it's just this cascading effect that just echoes throughout the whole world and all of our experiences to a point where in the school system, we our children are being antagonized and singled out and targeted by a population of teachers that are predominantly white. So then those people who see adult black people, right, and they're brainwashed by the media, by their, whatever president they voted for, right? Then they bring that into those classrooms and they negatively affect the minds of our children. So when you said you got to start early, you're absolutely correct. They start in those classrooms with our kids. Have our
Right.
kids coming home feeling ashamed of ourselves because they aren't more aligned with whiteness. But then they don't give them any other options because the second a child raises their voice in that classroom, oh, you're just being insubordinate. Maybe that
Mm-hmm.
child is being abused at home. And that's the only safe place to get out their anger. Children only express their anger when they feel safe or when they're at the end of their rope. So if a child is raising a voice at you, right, it's because you made them feel safe and the rest of the world make them feel unsafe. But they don't see that in black and brown children. They just see a threat. So it starts early. And that whole dynamic is what I do as a person. That's the thing that I be focused on. And that's why I do what I do. So thank you for coming to my TED talk and went on a little tangent. But yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Everything you said made perfect sense. All of the feelings and thoughts that you described, that's 100% valid. That is a real system that has been in place for hundreds of years before either one of us was born. And we are both now doing our absolute best to take a stand against it, not just for ourselves, but for
Right.
everybody else.
Right. I have to say this. One of the most frustrating things that I went through with trying to get an attorney was I called Ben Crump, other famous attorneys, unless you have something like a George Floyd or Breonna Taylor situation, they don't care. It's the money. And I was like, these guys have lots of money. Why can't they do one thing for the community? Don't matter what color, but the unserved community. Help us. We need help too. But when you look at me, when you got to try to figure out how you're going to do the bond, pay a lawyer. Most criminal lawyers are $20,000 to $30,000.
Hmm.
How is a person like me gonna come up with that kind of money? So to me, in my mind, that's so they can keep them there. And I spend a lot of money supporting my son in jail. I go without just so he can have. The food is horrible. Oodles or noodles cost over $1.05. So I got to make sure he has those. And my son, like, if there's someone in there, he takes 10% of what I give him, and he'll give to those who don't have anything. You know. Um, so I just hope that we can come together as unity, not to be a radical group, but a group that wants everyone to get the treatment they should, not because you less than and not because you're a number, because to them, that's all we are. And they're not going to go against their clique. They may want to, but they got to go with the flow. But I
Because they
will
got to get their bills paid too. And that's how they trap people with debt.
hmm but I will say this, where my son's been for the last 3 years, the officers have really been nice. A lot of them have told me they're praying for me, and they know something's off. They can't say but so much, but
Hmm.
one told me they know how the system works, and they don't like it. And this is an officer, you know. So Nick, I just thank you for so much, and I know I haven't been in touch like I should, but my everyday is so full, and, trying to do everything, all the research. Thank God for Izzy and Drea. And, I have a guy in Baltimore now that's good with research
Hmm.
that is helping me out. And I will be in Baltimore August for my award ceremony. So I
Love
hope
it.
to get to meet you then.
I set aside some time to make it happen.
Yeah. Uh, you just, people don't understand that it's so much to do. It's hard to keep in touch with everybody, but I'll be checking your page, and I wish I had that first petition because I got the second one. I don't know why they changed the numbers because I wanted to use that for our support. I don't know
Yeah,
how to
because we
do it.
have almost 250 signatures.
So the first one we had 750. The
Ooh,
last one got 200, almost 240. And I don't know how to pull up where we got the original 750. And that was all you're doing. You got that out there,
I
you
didn't
know.
even realize we had that much.
Yes, that was the first go around, 750.
Wow.
So that's close to 1,000. But I, I thought I took a screenshot of it, but you know me and technology.
Hmm.
If you don't, you know today, don't you?
Okay. I think a solution would be to take the news articles and then go to other news stations outside of the state, especially news stations that have a lot more funding, like WBAL, Baltimore. I would recommend doing all type of stuff like that. Wait, you sent 200 stars. Wow, I appreciate you for that. I
All
had
right.
no idea this was even a thing that you could do.
I,
I was just up here doing it because I could. Um, but yeah, I would recommend that at some point, right? Everybody who's involved, we start taking the news articles and going to other news stations with these articles saying like, "Hey, we have COs, we have people who work in the courts, we have jurors, all agreeing, right, unanimously that there is foul play." That clearly this man's case is trying to be suppressed in some way, shape, or form, and that you do not have the power to speak on it because if you do, it could jeopardize everything that you built thus far.
right,
So I think now it's time for us, your supporters, right? For us to gear up and to say everything that you can't say and
right,
make sure we say so in a way that doesn't get you in trouble, right? By saying, hey, I took it upon myself to make this observation. This is in no way, shape, or form indicative of Miss Naomi Dobson's perspective of the situation. This is just us, right? So that you will not in any way, shape, or form be held liable for what it is we say when we take this type of information to other people. So to have this live stream right here so that you can just play the video back whenever, right? So that all right, this is how people should move. Uh, these are the plans that we have. Maybe even write it down in like a notepad or something like that. So we all that are connected will have everything we need to just send that email, whether it's to, or if we meet somebody out in public or anything like that. So I think now we got a press kit, right? That's what that's called, a press kit. A press kit is essentially a bunch of information about any particular person or an environment or an organization,
Mm,
right? That basically tells you everything you need to know about that organization. So
okay.
what I think me, Miss Izzy, and the dude that you have in Baltimore doing your research, when we all corroborate and we get our next bit of information that we can use, I think that we should be contacting these different news stations across the US, right? And try to get as much leverage as possible to add to your situation
Mm-hmm.
and even potentially make a GoFundMe. And if Miss Izzy is up to that, I would say I would love to be the first person to donate some money to the GoFundMe.
Wow.
Throw the GoFundMe up there. I'll share that just like I've been sharing his picture and the change.org stuff. Me and my friends will donate to it because I've been telling my friends what I've been doing behind the scenes. Um, and if we get this GoFundMe up off the ground, we could definitely get a little bit of money back into your pocket to help with these court costs, as well as help David take care of the other people that he's come across, right? Because he's doing things behind the scenes,
Yeah.
right? And he's doing his best to look after other people the same way I'm over here trying to look after my siblings and my friends, and we practicing group economics. One of my friends got divorced and we all rallied around him when he started his new content creation. I
Wow.
sent him a bunch of money to, so he could do the stuff that he could do. We putting together to try to get him a PC, like a real good computer that he can do everything on, because that's what they did for me. Like the only reason I'm able to do what I do right now is because people who listen to my music hit me up and was like, you said you got an old 2008 iMac desktop. Well, let's do something about that. They put together, and now I have a computer that's worth 3, 4 bands.
Wow.
Who does stuff like that?
Good people that want to
So I'm
change
like,
and a better.
people like us.
Yes.
So it's like it's only natural for me to want to do that for y'all the same way y'all doing that for everybody else. So what I say is, long tail short, let's get this GoFundMe up off the ground. I send, you feel me, whatever money I can every single month until we get it somewhere. I don't care if for me and my friends is the only people on there donating over and over again. It's going to happen one way or the other. We want to put some extra money in your
Really do.
pocket.
I believe that God is using my son and I to reach people. I just don't, like you said, I don't know a lot about technology.
Mhm.
I don't even really know how to post on Instagram. When I do, it's by luck. I don't have anybody young around to show me. Um, but I believe this is going to be huge because we're not making it about just us.
Mhm.
We're making it about everybody that's in this situation. We don't care what color you are. God didn't see color. We don't see color. I know it hits us more than a lot of nationalities, but that doesn't mean they don't need help as well.
Yes, man.
I don't ever want it to be black versus white. We have enough division as it is,
Mhm.
you know.
Let's get to the let's stick to the point, stay on the point, and make sure it's always about the point. And that's helping people who need it.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
I think that's one of the main reasons why certain presidential candidates have been able to effectively brainwash people. So everybody's like, oh, it's us versus them. We got to help us first. And it's like, who told you that?
Right.
Who told you that you had to help yourself first? Like literally every single time I've sent somebody my last, one of my friends or somebody else just randomly was like, hey, bro, you good? And I suddenly got a 150. I send out my last 40, and one of my peoples is like, hey, I was just thinking about you, and I know you be taking care of your brother and sister. You good? I got some extra bread. I can send you 150 right now.
Wow.
And I'm just sitting there like, huh? Like every single time. And it's like I said before, if and this is what I want to tell anybody who's not religious, right? Because I'm not religious. What I want to say is this: even if you are not religious, there is an infinite
Amen.
universe, right? Where at some point, right, based off of infinity itself, at some point, you have to argue that consciousness itself, right, the concept of thought and the concept of energy throughout the infinite universe has to intersect somewhere. So who's to say that your subconscious mind is not connected to all of infinity itself, right?
Absolutely.
And that for some people who they need it to be outside of them, they need it to be external, right? For people who need that external validation, God exists for them in that capacity.
Right.
For people who prefer to get the validation from within and to understand the whole everything through themselves, it'll work through you. So no matter what label you put on it, no matter what title you put on it, you don't have to claim religion, you don't have to claim spirituality. You can simply claim to be a person who is in harmony with the natural forces that govern life itself. However you want to put it, be open minded and be accepting of the goodness that comes in different forms. Don't
Right.
simply look down on somebody because they have a different belief than you do, right? Look underneath the labels of that belief to see the beauty within.
Right.
That's the
Right.
that's the one thing I want to impart to people who, even people who are atheists, right? We still love you and accept you for who you are. Because if you choose to be a good person, despite being an atheist, cool, you're a good person.
Right.
You may not believe in what's written in the scripture, but you still believe in the principles that that scripture is based around. And that's good enough for a person like myself, right? Because I've had to step outside of my religious beliefs before to educate myself a little bit more back when people was telling me that Harry Potter was the devil, or that you couldn't do certain things. Like, so I get it, there are extremists in different ways. Don't you feel me? Don't become one of those people that's like, oh, that's fake, that's this, that's that. Don't be one of those people that wants to put down people for what they believe in. Try to use your open-mindedness and your open-heartedness to connect on the principles of love and the principles of kindness that you would want someone to show towards you in some of your most vulnerable moments. You feel me? Um, but yeah, I
You are.
appreciate everybody's time, energy, and effort. Anybody who watches this, I appreciate you for being here. I definitely appreciate Isabel
All right.
for making this happen.
She is the greatest.
Um,
She has taught me so much about the mind and meditation. She really has.
now
And she order like you from day one.
I hope more of these people come into the circle, because the more of us end up being interconnected, the stronger we'll be when it's time to take action. I wanted to ask, is there anything else on your mind, and or is there anything else that people should know, or even is there any lessons, life lessons or personal things on your mind, period, point blank? No matter what it is, it don't have to be about anything that we talked about. It can be anything. Your entire person, right, is allowed and accepted in this space. Whatever you got going on, is there anything that you would like to tell the people, anything you would like to share, anything along those lines?
Um, I would like to share that I really want to work for others. And it's never about just my son and I. And that people have different religious beliefs. But this last year, my faith has grown so much. I still cry sometimes, but I know God has the final say. And I am not claiming this time because God is going to open those doors. He did it before. He's going to do it again. It was by the mistake of the clerk in the courts. But, maybe God made that happen for us to be where we are today. Maybe it's up to my son and I to educate with people like you and Izzy to bring people, hey, let's think about this. Something's not right here. We got to do something. So this is so much bigger than us. And I just thank you for giving me this opportunity, even though my thoughts are not always rational, because my brain goes around and around too fast. And that's something I have to pray on. I said in my last video. But Nick, just keep doing what you're doing. And I love you and I thank you for everything you've been doing for James David and I. And, you know, um, I'm taking heed. There's some more paperwork I have to do. I just didn't know how to reach outside of this county because in North Carolina, it's different. It's
Mhm.
like being in a larger city. I'm not going to get the exposure that I need that will help. And I don't know how to reach out to the bigger cities, and then because I even wanted to go to Washington, but you know, it all comes down to money. You got to have money.
Yep.
So, but one thing I do know, God will bring what I need when I need it. You know, so
All right.
just keep the faith, folks. You know, don't give up, even in the
All right. So that's
dark time.
definite.
Mhm.
So that's definitely our next step. Getting this GoFundMe up off the ground, getting some donation pages ready so that some money can go directly into your pocket for these court costs, travel costs, so on and so forth. And, start pooling it together so that eventually you'll have more than what you need and can start helping people the way you want to. Because really, you could
Absolutely.
be the pioneer for, moms and dads and everybody coming together about their family.
That's what
I genuinely believe that that's your calling.
I do too. I really do. You
All right,
know.
so real quick, Izzy says she wants us to smile so she could take a picture. Yeah, we go right here. I took a screenshot too, just in case.
I'm glad you and Izzy hooked up because you guys, y'all are technology savvy. Y'all know how to reach people. And Nick, I thank you for what you're doing for your siblings. You told me some of your story, and I'm just amazed at your intelligence and your willingness to help others. You're a blessing. You are definitely. And
Thank
James
you.
brought us together. If it wasn't for my son, I wouldn't know anything about you.
Mm, yeah, I say that. That's definitely a blessing within itself. Connecting with people who are positive influences in your life,
Right.
people who have a positive impact one way or the other, people who can teach you things. Um, That's beautiful because most of the lessons I learned in life was the hard way. Me just being naive, me thinking I could be a
Er,
knucklehead and just, oh yeah, I'm young. I can do what I want for real. Can't nobody hit me in my mouth. And life will always bring around somebody who a little bit taller, got more reach, that's a little stronger, or no matter how nice you think your hands are, or no matter how slick you think you is, or can't nobody catch me. I'm too smart. I'm smarter than the average bear. Then Boo Boo the Fool gonna come right around the corner and be like, "Hey, buddy, you on my team now."
right. But you survived in Baltimore and still surviving.
Hmm.
You know, Baltimore, it's a tough city. You got to be tough to be in Baltimore, and you got to know to stay in your lane for sure.
Oh yeah, because the second you think you can be in a mix without
Hmm.
consequences, you're gonna be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I was lucky to have people around me who made the mistake of taking other lives in anger, not because they were trying to survive, and telling me, "Bruh, you not weak, you not know none of that. You did what you were supposed to do to protect yourself and to survive, and you never supposed to enjoy it." That's one of the biggest things that I got from the dudes who was really like that and who could see in me that I was really like that, but I was misguided. They pulled me aside and be like, "Hey, little cuz, you not supposed to enjoy that. We wasn't never supposed to enjoy that. Like, take it from me. You taking after me, trying to be like me, because I didn't brought you in and I didn't put you on. But like, trust me, it ain't a good thing for me to be enjoying that. This is
Right.
not something that we supposed to be bragging about. This is me when I'm not paying attention and I'm just, on autopilot and I'm out with my niggas. But like, you have an opportunity to be different. I'm telling you, you got to be different. I ain't never had nobody invite me in a home and tell me, "Hey, what you want out of your fridge?" Like, dudes older than me got it on them, and we having a conversation where they breaking down, tears coming out their face, saying, "I ain't never had nobody, not even my own mother, make me food like this.
Right.
You brought me into your crib, opened up the fridge and said, 'What do you want?' You didn't just sit something down in front of me and tell me I just had to eat whatever. No, you said, 'Well, what you want? I got something in here. You want something to drink? But you want some juice? You want some this? You want some that? What you want is season?' You sat here and you cooked for me.
Wow. That's amazing.
I'm I'm the person who got the peas. You supposed to be coming to me to buy, right?
Hmm.
You just spent money with me, but you made food for me. And then it was one of my closest people's Ghost. We went outside on the back porch and I rolled up two blunts, one for me and one for him. And I was done rolling up the first blunt and he go to roll up his. I'm like, "Oh no, bro, you good." And I handed him the first one, like, "This one is yours." And then I started rolling up a second one for myself. And he like, "What you mean, bro?" And I'm like, "You're a guest in my home. I got
Right.
some money on me right now. You doing this type of work because you trying to take care of your daughter. I don't
Mm.
want you to smoke from your own supply. I'm gonna smoke you up real quick, right? You have your head good for the rest of the day, right? I can't do it all the time, but I can do something for you right now. Put some food in your stomach, A little smoke in your system help you calm down a little bit. I understand how it helps. It helps when you're stressed out, right? Go out there, be safe as you possibly can. I want to see
Right.
you with a smile on your face as soon as possible. If you need something to eat, my home is always open for you.
That's
Man,
awesome.
shedding tears, crying. You different, bro. You different, bro. No, you got to stay out the way, bro. Stay out the way. It's dangerous outside. Stay out the way. Just saying over and over again, bro. Stay out the way. Stay out the way. And every time I think of doing something dumb and my anger gets to me and I'm like, nah, you about to find out the hard way that I'm one of them. And I feel like jumping out of me. I hear his voice like, nah, bro, stay out the way. And it make me cry because I'm like, this anger, I can tell it be eating people alive. Like this anger, this rage of how dare you? I'm not no soft ass nigga. You can't just like it'll jump out you so quick. And it's like that wounded inner child that black men and men of all ages and women of all ages don't know that they're carrying around. That wounded inner child is that version of you that keep pushing that button to make you want to jump out and do crazy stuff when somebody tests you or whatever. And
Right.
like having somebody, this man lost his life. And from my perspective, this man literally died to keep me safe. Because if he would have never passed away and I knew he was still out and about, my mentality would be a little bit different. And I would probably be a little more comfortable with doing things I ain't supposed to do just to prove how tough I am.
May I ask you a question? This guy Ghost, is he the one that helped a lot of people in Baltimore, like giving people free haircuts, or this is two different people?
Two different people.
Okay.
He was this ghost was he I think he was inspired by that dude,
Okay.
but he was basically zone 17 white lot area. He basically we bumped into each other one day because I wanted to smoke, got that off of yo. And he was in a park with his daughter.
Mm.
And me, he being like, oh yeah, I'm with my daughter right now. I'm like, bro, you with your daughter. We can just chill right here. I ain't gonna pull out no smoke or nothing. We'll just sit here with your daughter while you enjoying your time. We can talk about the day. You know what I mean? And me being a person to him, that's what opened it
Wow.
up. He was like, I got a lot of respect for you. You ain't approached me on no BS acting like you was this tough dude. You stay out the way. You a nerdy dude. I respect you and I got love for you for being a real man in my presence. That's real nigga shit to me. And I'm like having that validation from another black man, it hit different. And we as people, we have to admit that just because you grown, that don't mean you're immune to that urge to want to feel validated by people that you have love and respect for. It's natural. And that validation he gave me is stuck with me. So when I found out he lost his life, it was like immovable weight. That's an immovable weight. I can't get around it. I can't get past it. Every time I think I'm gonna go do something dumb to prove a point, I can't get past it. And I can't look past the fact that in some way I feel like I hate to feel sound so self-centered, but whenever I feel it slipping, I tell myself this man died to keep you in the house. Why would you dishonor this man's life and death by stepping outside of your zone and letting somebody take you off your pedestal, going to beef with somebody or go back and forth with somebody? Like
It's
be at peace.
not worth.
Be at peace. Let them have their little comments. Let people talk about you as much as they want. Because while they're talking and they're getting comfortable, you're uncomfortable and you're working as hard as you can. So when the smoke clear, all they gonna have is the fact that they got off on you and they was able to talk about you behind your back or whatever
Absolutely.
without getting killed. That's the highlight of their life. Oh, I got to talk my ish without getting beat up or killed. The highlight of my life is, oh, my brother going into the army. He about to get sworn in. So he can eventually join the anti-sex trafficking agencies in the FBI. That's what he want to do. My baby sister, a transgender person. Shorty is pioneering a certain type of science, women's science,
All right.
pioneering it to where her work is going to be cited by professors and students in the future.
Mm.
They're both happy and healthy. They call me, they don't really talk to me like that. They only hit me up when they need help. And I'll be telling them, you don't have to feel guilty or ashamed. The fact that you out here living your life with your friends and you're enjoying your time and that you don't need me, that shows me that I did a good job.
Right. I'm so proud of you.
Like, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. Like when I really take the time to think about what we have survived and the beautiful things we've created, facilitated, I'm finally able to be proud of myself through being proud of other people because we all on the same wave.
Yes.
Like, but yeah, um, I definitely think that all of these things mean something. I definitely think that now is the time for us to start working on putting some money back in your pocket and putting money back into the pockets of people who need it. I'm good. I've been doing charity work for a minute, so it's nothing for me to just keep donating money here and there when I get it. But I definitely would like Miss Izzy to set up the GoFundMe if possible, and then send me the link so I could donate.
Trust me.
Be like, be like, listen, it's gotta be Miss Izzy because if you let me do it, we might be paying money to somebody else. It might be
Absolutely.
another Naomi and somebody.
I've even sent money to the wrong person on Cash App. Fortunately, they knew each other. So my son won't even let me order anything via the internet.
And another thing, I don't know if he told you, but I actually make merch. My merchandise, I actually have stuff with Adidas, Under Armour, Champion, and I think like Fruit of the Looms and Hanes now. So if y'all
Wow.
send me designs, I can actually put that Food Crip Curry or Mama Naomi, whatever designs y'all send me, I can put that on my clothing and basically y'all promote it and then I just give you all the money from all of the sales that are made from that design. And then I can send you well, Miss Izzy, I'm assuming she's, more familiar with that.
Yes.
I could send her a copy of all of the transactions that were made, period, so that she can then tally up and make sure, okay, all of the designs that were sold under that Food Crip Curry or Mama Naomi, all of that money is accounted for. And I send that straight to her or send that straight to you, and that goes right back into his pocket to help him out. Um, and I do the same thing with other independent artists. It's like two other independent artists I work with right now where I just sent them one of them he made like maybe $15. I cash tapped him the $15. Then another dude he made like 36. I cash tapped him his 36. And every single month when I get money off this, I immediately send the money even before the money clears in my account. The
Okay.
second I see that sale has gone through and it's paid and sent, I immediately send the money out. So like that's what I've been doing behind the scenes, just putting different independent artists, putting their stuff on Adidas, Champion, Under Armour clothes, because people like name brands and basically using that to get them. Oh, you got to unmute yourself. Hold up. Oh, that little microphone symbol on the bottom left, tap that. It's all the way at the bottom, at the very, very bottom of the bar. Whenever you talk, it's a little microphone thing that probably glows green.
Okay. All right. Somebody called.
Hmm,
And
that's
I'm
how
trying
it
to decline. I should have put up, don't call me for 2 hours.
is. Yeah. So definitely GoFundMe. I'm always ready and ready to put designs on stuff. And it could be for you, it could be your name, it could be Crip Curry, it could be David, it could be James, it could be Miss Isabel Baker, it could be Izzy's Corner, whatever y'all want to do. I'm always open to helping people put their stuff on name brand clothes because it's very difficult for independent content creators to have those type of opportunities.
Right.
So I'm trying to maximize it as much as possible, help out as many people as possible. I don't have to work a 9 to 5. The house is owned. I have all these electronics and stuff after years of not having nothing. Like
Awesome.
I got
Congratulations.
nothing but time, energy, and effort to help y'all out to make it easier for everybody else to get where they trying to go. So I think that's our next step. Don't worry about hitting me up and trying to entertain me if you going through it. I'm here to support. So if you find that you need some extra support for something, maybe something you don't understand, always never hesitate to reach out to me. Of course, to reach out to Miss Isabel. We all part of the same team right
Yep.
now. We all locked in.
My soul helper. You don't know. I just feel so guilty sometimes. Oh man, she works hard for us.
Mhm. I can imagine the type of time, energy, and effort that's needed to for a situation like this. Yeah, y'all running yourselves thin, and it's about time y'all get some extra hands, some extra heads, eyes and everything on the situation.
We're
So let's definitely
trying.
get that up and try to contact some of these other news stations because I'm in Baltimore. If y'all can't make the trip, I can make the trip. You can send me the information. I got a fax machine. Somebody can fax me paperwork, all type of stuff, and I could pull up to WBAL myself if that's necessary.
Well, I'm thankful the news here covered the how they let them out by error because they can go to that.
Hmm.
I just don't know how to do emails. I'm so embarrassed, but Izzy does, and you do. So that is, I think that's gonna help. Just seeing that the news came
Hmm.
and did the report. You know, but God
Definitely.
moving in His timing. Look at this.
Hmm.
I just want to reach people, and if nothing else, to inspire people not to give up. You know.
Facts. I've been 10 plus years in this game trying to get my little music and content creation up the ground. It's a snail's pace when you're not selling your soul and screwing people over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we have to be patient and not give up.
Hmm.
And that's what I've learned. And God will bring the right people into your life at the right time. Who would have thought 3 years ago we would be doing this today? And this is the second time you and I've been on live or a podcast.
Ain't been to the Carolinas in about 15 years.
Yeah,
Boom,
come
connect
to
with
us,
somebody.
but you don't want to come the way my house is looking now. I had actually went upstairs because it's much neater, and the internet wouldn't pick up there. I said, "Dog, now I have to sit downstairs." I need a donation for a housekeeper.
All the work that you've been doing can barely take care of the
Yeah,
self in the home sometimes.
that's what's been happening. Thank God nobody really comes here to visit. Oh,
Now you're gonna have to rush and clean.
well,
Be like, don't look in that closet. Don't look in that closet. That's where I stuffed everything.
upstairs is David's, part of the house, but it's much neater. So when I do occasionally have someone, I take them right upstairs. No, we're
Hmm.
not gonna stay downstairs. If you have OCD, you in the wrong house when you hit my front door.
Man, I know how that is. My room be looking real crazy sometimes. I don't
Yeah,
even
it's
be
hard.
taking the trash out. Sometimes I be tying the bags up, sitting it to the side. Like I don't even have the energy. Like or the clothes where you wash your clothes and you just put all the clean clothes in a basket and just leave the basket.
Yeah,
Like
thank
you digging through the basket trying to get something like all right, I hang all this and fold this up later. And later be a week and a half, two
right.
weeks,
It's time to wash again by the time you
right?
get
Like
to it.
I know them days where you're overwhelmed, sensory overload, and all you can do is wash your tail a little bit and lay right back down and get ready for the next day.
Yep, you're absolutely right. I love you, Nick. Izzy, I love you. I'm
I
so
love
thankful,
y'all.
guys. God bless you and keep us on this journey and helping others and just being good people.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. As always, I try to impart knowledge. Please love yourselves, because if you don't love yourself, how are you supposed to know when somebody else really loves you or not? And be yourself, because being somebody else takes way too much effort. And
Oh,
trust me, we all got enough on our plate already.
and one last thing I have to say.
Yes, ma'am.
Young folks, don't be bitter, or old folks too. Bitterness will kill you. Live your life in peace and harmony and your faith in your higher power. Don't let bitterness eat your part. Enjoy your life. You have freedom, as my son said. We have so much potential. We're out here. So people explore your potentials, live it. At 68, I'm gonna start living my life as soon as I get this stuff situated a little bit better. But no, just live and inspire others. It doesn't take
Hmm.
much. No, no.
Facts. I ain't start doing yoga till I was what, 29, 30 years old.
How old
I'm telling you.
are you? I thought you.
My back feels so good. My hips is all loose and everything. I don't feel stiff. I hit the big 3-0. Ain't feel nothing. You know, like it's always time to try new things. I'm telling y'all, it could be drawn. Go get you a coloring book from the dollar store and relive your childhood a little bit. I'm telling you, get that big 64, 128 box of crayons, go ahead.
Right.
I'm telling you, just live your lives. Get the buy the toys that you couldn't afford when you was a kid. Like, I'm telling you, it'll
Go,
make you feel so much better.
go out there and kick the can. I don't remember what that movie's from, but it was these people and Carruthers was in it. I can't think of his name. But you know, you might have to just let that little kid come out.
Go get you some super soakers,
Right.
go out with your
I,
homeboys and put the guns down a little bit,
yeah,
get you some super soakers and just, have
we
fun.
gotta teach them a new way to live.
I mean, because we slowly but surely losing all our creativity and giving it to, the millionaires and billionaires who got all the time, energy, and resources to be experimenting. We got to take our creativity back. We got to take our peace and our harmony
We
back.
do. We really do. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I thoroughly enjoyed this.
and reaching others, and you know, I'm gonna do the best I can. I got Izzy, you back on board. Well, you never left. It's just that I didn't reach out because I just knew I had me, and then Izzy came along, and it was hard. I didn't like asking anyone because people got jobs, they're busy, and sometimes your fight is not their fight, but this fight has to be for everyone.
Mhm.
I can't do this by myself.
Yeah, and this ain't just about us or what time I got or if I'm busy. Like, nah, this is bigger than me. I have more than enough comforts to help me cope with, being a little bit more busy than I wanted to be, maybe. Like, so you calling on me for assistance is really just me balancing out the universe for all of the good things that have happened to me over the last couple of years. Because I'm good. I don't have to worry about where my next meal come from.
Good.
Like that's a huge thing in this society. Food insecurity, crazy work. The people that I be sending money to, $20 be everything to them.
Right. It doesn't have to be a large amount, you
So
know.
it's like I have no reason to complain when you call on me for assistance. I got more than enough comforts to help balance it out. I could smoke if I'm stressed out, got my little herb here if I'm stressed out. I could take a nap, play the game. Like I could do anything. I have freedom. And right now, the freedom of a person I claim to care about, right? If their freedom is jeopardized, then it's all the more reason for me to get active. There's no reason for me to be like, oh, that's too much work. Nah.
Right. Yeah, we got to come together. Absolutely. God is going to see us through. I have no doubt.
Yeah, I believe wholeheartedly that the forces of positivity we believe in are with us every step of the way, period, point blank. Because there's no way that all of this is just a random coincidence. Like,
I agree. God, this has been in the mix for years, and we didn't even know.
mhm.
We didn't even know.
All of those times you were choosing to be the woman you were choosing to be, it was leading to this moment. When I was choosing to be the man I was choosing to be, it was leading to this moment.
I believe
Because if
that.
I had made different choices and had been a less loving person, a less open-minded person, I probably would have just looked past that situation like, oh, well, it's another person who they not on the gram no more. I wonder what happened to yo.
Right.
It's like, nah, couldn't do that. It's not my nature. I had to follow my true nature and my inner child. Like, even though it can seem corny sometimes or whatever, I really just be listening to my inner child because that's the rawest and most real version of me that ever existed.
I never.
He was the one who ain't care. He was going to talk to random people on the street, stop and talk to homeless people. How are you doing, sir?
Right.
You feel me? Like treating people like people. Like when back in the day before being gay or trans or whatever was like more normalized, I ain't
Mhm.
have no hate in my heart towards those people. Like, oh, I like your outfit.
Right.
Like just being a kid, because kids, they don't care. They just, oh, all they see is colors. Oh, I like your outfit. Your outfit looks so pretty. And that was me as a kid. So like listening to that part of me and just letting him compliment people, letting him, you feel me, letting him be a good person. Let him be a kid again and just let the adult version of myself protect our physical body from the dangers, and the mental dangers, while just letting that kid be a kid and letting him be good and loving and all of that. So I think that's one of the other things that I wanted to say, like to expound upon it a little bit more to help other black men understand, like, yeah, sometimes you just gotta let that little dude be a little dude and let him do him.
And don't worry about what anyone else thinks.
That's man.
You are number.
But yeah, so we definitely have a plan of action now. Definitely reaffirmed, our dedication. Reassurance is nothing wrong with some reassurance that can go a long way. Um, Definitely going to get the GoFundMe popping off, and that'll be done as soon as today. We'll probably be sending links to each other, all of that. I'll be posting that today. Yeah, the only other thing is the merch. If he ever want to do merch and he want to come up with designs or something like that, I'll throw it on the clothes without hesitation. Send y'all whatever money it make. Send y'all proof of all the purchases and send Izzy everything so that she can prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that it is what I say. Because nice words is nice words, but proof, you feel me?
I
That's what helps reassure.
enough already to know that you stick by your word.
Mhm.
And I know that you can't trust everybody, but when I grew up, word was your bond. And I
Yes,
like to stick
man.
to that. And if you get messed up along the line, I haven't lost. That person's lost by not doing the right thing, you know?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Like y'all missed out on a beautiful opportunity, not me.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I love the way you think. I love your intelligence. I love the way that you look at the world, how you haven't let anything that's happened to you in a negative way keep you from moving on and forward and inspiring. For a young man today, that is it's awesome.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Sometimes it's out of the purity of my soul. Sometimes it's out of spite. I had somebody tell me one time they was jealous. Like you, no matter how many times you got bullied back in the day, you kept learning you kept going to boxing school, learning how to this, that, and the third. No matter how many times people made fun of the music you listened to, you kept listening to heavy metal. And you feel me, music that we listened to, you was listening to everything. No matter how many times people made fun of the way you dressed, you kept being yourself, and that made me jealous of you. Second somebody told me that, I was like, oh yeah, it's up. Now I know this is something that I gotta hold on to.
No, how
But
do
it
you
it
inspire others?
but it feels good to have a black woman validate that, because black love, it hit different.
Well, we're going to support one another and, keep doing what you're doing to help others. You know, um, Everything you do, it may not get recognized, but if it's helping someone, that's all that matters. Like with me, I don't have to be the front runner as long as my goals are getting out there, which is to inspire others and to help my son and others like my son. I don't have to be the head of the table. Let's just get it done. I don't have an ego in that matter.
I believe that that's the only way to go. I believe everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. There does not need to be a leader. You can have a person who's the voice,
Right.
right? But I don't really think organizations need a leader. I do think that there are some people who are better at planning, but I don't think the person who's the best at planning should be the leader. I think it should always be everybody showing their strengths and weaknesses and going like, all right,
Right.
bro, over here, he got the best plans. So we need a plan, right? For this particular situation. What you thinking? All right, boom, boom, boom. All right, bet. This is what everybody thinks of the plan. This person over here does the technology bit, and they saying that this part of the plan won't work, but the technology, so you got to switch it around a little bit. That way,
Okay.
it's no leaders or followers. It's just a bunch of skilled individuals working together.
That
And me thinking that way is exactly why I'm so comfortable taking a back seat and just being a support. And you just telling me, oh, this is what I need help with. All right, boom, let's get it done. Because a leader for what? We're all leading the charge. We're side by side. You're not behind me. You're not back there with your feet kicked up. You on the front lines, just like I'm on the front lines in my life. So ultimately, like, yeah, I think we are all leaders. I think that's what a leader is. But oh yeah, the Wi-Fi, I can tell. It's just the internet. Give it a second. Oof. Yeah. Sometimes the data slows down a little bit.
I really don't know what's going on. Um, hopefully he'll be back. Check this. 'Cause y'all know I don't know what I can do. Is he coming? I just heard a chuckle.
There it is.
Wow. I thought you had left the planet.
No, sometimes the internet connection dips down a little bit,
Oh, okay.
and then it'll slow up and start breaking up and all of that. But yeah, I caught the bits and pieces of what you were saying, so I knew you were still in here.
Yeah.
Um,
Technology.
but to everybody who took time to watch, whether you popped in for a second or you watched the video later, I thoroughly appreciate you for supporting everything that we're doing. Because again, it's not just about us, it's about the change that we can create across the planet now and in the future. 2025 just got started.
Amen.
Um, the political climate is making it look like it's going to be a tough year economically, or a tough few years economically. So now is the time more than anything for us to put aside our arrogance, our egotistical nature, our narcissism, you feel me, that selfishness, and to really just say, all right, we need each other in order for all of this to work.
Amen.
I can't get a job unless I'm hired by somebody. I am dependent on someone to hire me. I cannot just go, quote unquote, get a car, no matter how much money I got. I have to go purchase one. Someone has to sell a car to me, or I have to go to someone who can build an entire car and pay that person to build me an entire car from start to finish. I can't just go get a house. I have to find a person who owns a house or find people who can build that house and have that property built. We are all dependent on each other, knowing what to do in different ways, right? In order to get all of this done. So let's put aside all of that ego and really admit that we got to go through other people to get what we need in life. So let's just calm down, chill, be cool, admit that we need each other, and then move accordingly based off of us needing each other. Let's educate ourselves. You ain't got to give your money away. I ain't saying all of that, but I'm just saying it starts somewhere and it starts from within. You feel
Amen.
me? We thank y'all for y'all time. As always, reach out to Miss Dobson, Miss Naomi, if you have any questions about the situation, if you want to become more informed, right? But keep in mind that she's a very busy woman doing all of this court case stuff. She on the front lines, so please be patient with her, her time, as well as her, interacting with technology. Be patient with me. But I am mostly available because I'm constantly working my social media to interact with people who are, supporting my music and whatnot. So reach out to me and ask questions, and I'll direct you to anybody who may not be able to answer those questions. Please don't hesitate to reach out to Miss Isabel Baker. Um,
Amen.
is support her content as well, because she is a content creator, right? And outside of this situation that we're discussing, she does a lot of work educating people. So please support her content. It would mean a lot to me, and it would mean a lot to all of us in general if you did so. Follow us, add us, friend request us, whatever you want to do. And we hope that y'all have enjoyed. We hope that y'all took something positive away from this. I sent you the links and information needed if you can add it to this post. Yes, ma'am, I can. And does anybody have any closing comments? Anything they want us to touch on in the comments, Miss Izzy? And do you have any closing comments, Miss Naomi?
No, I'm good. I just want to thank you and Miss Baker for being there for me. I've never felt alone on this journey. I want to thank all our supporters. I can't mention everybody's name because I never get off of here. But everybody positive and take advantage of your freedom and spread joy and awareness and love to everyone, no matter what your spiritual beliefs are. Just be a good person and care about other people. And I love you guys. And thank you again, Nick.
Very welcome, very welcome. We love y'all, and please, 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 please,
Oh,
please, again,
like, share, please. I
yeah,
gotta get.
like and share. Please get the message out there. Check the links that I post in the post and in the comment section, because that's going to be the links to the news story. Yeah, we out.
You, they know you on Instagram, right?
Yeah, Pretty Blicky on Instagram,
Because
PRT TTYBLICKY. You know, that's my main page. Or Call Me the Wolf Boy for my alternate page. You know, that's my spam page where I just post random stuff at. This is my main Facebook. You know, all of the other people, Miss Izzy and Miss Naomi will be tagged in this post so that you can go on their pages whenever and